Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for The Walking Dead. So let's start talking about this episode. This is the premiere of The Walking Dead, and last season we had a big cliffhanger. Now, I didn't like the cliffhanger from last season. I know a lot of people were torn about it. Either they're like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next season, or oh my god, how much of a gimmick was that? So let's see if the gimmick paid off in this episode. So here we get to see the beginning does not tell you who dies. And I'm like, oh my god, just tell us who dies, tell us who dies. So instead it's Negan taking Rick on this journey of pretty much breaking him. And then coming back and finding out who actually died. Which, spoiler alert, it was Abraham and Glenn. Abraham, I think, was one of the obvious ones because I feel like he was a character we didn't grow as attached to. He's more of a second string character of the group. And then you have Glenn, who's the fan favorite, of course, and not alludes, but parallels the comic book death where Negan kills Glenn. Alright, do I have a problem? Well, alright, let's, I guess, just talk about the whole episode. So we find out who dies, and then you have a little bit more trauma from Negan, and then mourning. And now the team works for Negan because they were broken. That's the whole episode. I'm going to talk about the positives and negatives. I'm going to go with the positives first, and then I'll go to the negatives. Positives, acting, of course. I mean, the emotions in this episode were very high, because this is an episode about death. And I have to give the MVP award to Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie. I mean, the emotion in the end of the episode was so well done. Cinematography is always really well done here, especially as they're trying to not trick the audience, but grow tension to the audience to find out who dies. That was really well done. And the theme of family. I really liked that Rick would cut his son's arm to save his family. Now, this is a family that's not blood related, and that's something I've always enjoyed about the Walking Dead, is that they're not blood, but they're still family, and they'll obviously do their best and try to help each other. So I really like that, and that goes to the mourning of Maggie also. Those were the strongest elements for me. And of course, Negan as a villain. This episode was just proving how much of a strong villain he is and why you should scare him, or be scared of him. And Rick, a character that we've seen confident, we've seen as, you know, a very strong character, even through all the trials and errors he's gone through, has always stuck through. And now you see Rick totally broken, especially when they try to parallel Rick's own arm being cut off to his son, where I'm like, yeah, he's not going to last that. I really hope that doesn't happen. But it didn't, thank God. But again, it was just showing the strength of the family aspect, which I really enjoyed. So those are the positives of the episodes. Now, the anger of this episode comes towards the deaths and the gimmicks. Now, of course, like I said, I was part of the group where I thought that cliffhanger was a gimmick, and you made your fans wait all these months to find out who dies, and then they take a half an hour to tell you who dies, and then they're showing flashes, kind of teasing. Now, I think you can look at it either way. It's tension building or teasing. And I kind of look at it the second way. I really felt like it was more teasing than tension building of who died. You had like 4 months of tension building. Just tell us who died. Now, the people who died. Abraham, like I said, I think he was one of the obvious picks. It was going to either be Abraham or Eugene. I think that was my pick. Because I feel like those are the characters that's not as much the fan favorite, but they, I guess, have enough fans that people would care about them. Glenn, I'm not upset because it is Glenn. I mean, again, he's a fan favorite character. I really liked his character. But the reason I'm upset with this episode and the death of Glenn is because they teased us all last season. It makes last season a lot worse for me than it was, because, you know, a lot of people got upset that, you know, Glenn wasn't actually dead, and they teased you for all these episodes, and there was this random build-up, random filler episodes just to show, oh, Glenn's alive, and then a couple episodes after killing him off just so it could be just like the comic book. So I wouldn't be angry at this death. I actually think this would be a great death if it wasn't for last season, if it wasn't for that episode of teasing that they started out with. So that comes with the anger, and again, my biggest problem with The Walking Dead, is that they really rely on death. And of course, yes, it's a horror show, so they should, but a lot of the times they rely so much on death that they don't have story plot twists. And even though this episode did very well with the characters, there are some episodes where they're just talking and nothing moves. So that's the disappointment of this ending, is the gimmick part of it. But there are some positives. Like I said, there's a lot of good emotion in this episode, but I don't know if the gimmick overweighs my pleasure of it, though. The deaths were, I don't know, kind of betrayed the fans in some ways, I feel. But let me know in the comments below. I feel like this is going to be kind of a torn episode of who liked it and who didn't. But, of course, I'll be continuing the season, reviewing the season. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.